Hello! I'm back. I am back for another YouTube video. Today I am going to be talking about my album, my first album. I'm going to talk about the story behind each song and also kind of how the album came to be. I'm also going to talk about the production part a little bit. I will talk about the production for each song, but also maybe at the end I will talk a bit about how I learned to produce. I can always make a separate video about what I know about producing, but I'm still learning, so I don't know if there's much to tell. But yeah, today I'm going to talk about every song and kind of how I wrote it, or maybe what the inspiration was behind the song, and also what it kind of means to me. But you can of course interpret every song your way, but I'm just gonna talk about how I wrote them and where they kind of come from. Before I start this video, I made this video to talk about my story and maybe to for you guys to understand me a bit better and also to know how I came up with the songs and how I wrote them. This is not me saying that my songs specifically mean certain things, because there's also quite a lot of people on Instagram and TikTok that asked me for this and that really wanted to know more about the album itself. So that's why I made this video. So yeah, let's go. So the first song that I'm going to talk about, of course, is Wild Roses. This is the first song on the album. And when I had most of the songs finished, I kind of quite quickly knew that this was going to be the opener for the album, because I feel like it kind of it's like an intro to me and to the kind of person that I'm singing about, because for me, of course, the album is about me and my experiences and my feelings. And so I thought this is kind of a nice way to, I don't know, I guess establish what kind of person I am and where it starts, the story. And so for Wild Roses, this was the piano melody for Wild Roses was one of the first, if not the first melody I ever made on the piano. And I was super proud of it. And I actually first had different lyrics with this song, because in the past when I used to write songs a lot, I had the melody first and then I would be playing the piano and then the lyrics would just kind of come to me. And so for this song I had a totally different lyrics than now, but eventually I changed it and it kind of slowly became the song that we know. So the idea of the song Wild Roses came from like two different lyrics, two different ideas that I had. One was really focused on the wild rose, so I had the idea of a wild rose growing alone in the cold wind and everything, far away from everything else. And with that, I felt quite alone sometimes, specifically in like my hobbies and my personality and stuff. Like I sometimes felt a bit like I didn't really fit in with certain people around me. I didn't per se think that was a bad thing, because that's just who I was. And at least I spent that time developing who I am now and also really working towards who I wanted to be, I guess. And so the idea of like a wild rose, somebody who feels a bit different, who feels a bit more, I don't know, like they don't really fit in maybe. And maybe they're surrounded by a lot of negativity, or maybe they are very lonely, or they just feel like they don't really fit in. And that's when I had kind of the idea of like the wild rose as like the theme of the song. And then I also had some lyrics separately where it really started with, the empress of her garden and warrior, so like the warrior of your own life, because you should be the one who is in control of your life. So somebody being very quite strong in that sense. And then I kind of put those two together, and it became a song about, like I said before, feeling a bit different, feeling a bit alone maybe, or like you don't fit in. And those things are not bad, because they also give you space and time and the ability to get to know yourself and to really develop who you are and grow as a person, I would say. Because you figure out what you do like and what you don't like and what your strengths are. And then when I sing about like the cold wind, like I said, it can be anything negative around you, or maybe insecurities or something. But even then, you take the steps to become who you are. And also I sing about the thorns of the wild rose that keeps her safe. And I feel like, for me at least, sometimes at least that's how it felt to me, I kind of build up a wall a little bit, I guess, to protect myself. Because when you do feel a bit different sometimes, or when you're a bit alone or something, you might be worried about what people think. But eventually, when you find more strength in yourself, and when you accept that you are who you are, you don't need those thorns anymore, and you are growing into the person that you are meant to be. Which sounds a bit cliche, but it's true. Because you are the queen of your mind, or the king, or anything you want to be, basically. Just somebody who is very colorful and very unique and very strong and very kind and very creative, maybe, whatever it is. Yeah, so that's to me what the song meant. And the production part of this song was quite easy. I always knew I wanted this to be just a very beautiful song that you can hear when you're walking in a garden. So like pianos from a distance, and strings and violins. And that's why I kept it a bit simple. I thought it would fit the song the best. Yeah, like kind of walking through a secret garden with a nice melody in the background or something. That's what I wanted. The second song I am talking about, of course, is Nighthawk. This is one of my favorites, but I had an interesting journey with this song. So when I wrote it, it was one of my favorites. I was really, really proud of it, and I thought it was really beautiful, and it meant a lot to me. But then when I started producing it, I got so tired of this song, because somehow from all my songs, this one was the hardest to produce. I don't know exactly why or what I did, but it was just such a long journey. And so after producing it every single day for a very long time, I got sick of it, and I thought, okay, it's not as nice as I thought it was. But now when I listen back, I am very, very proud of it still, and really happy, even though the production might not be the quality that I hoped for this one. I'm still very, very happy with it. So how I wrote it is, I saw a picture once, I think on social media or Google, I don't know, of some words that represented like different emotions or different things you could experience, like in life or something. I'm not really sure where I found it. And one of the words was Nighthawk, and Nighthawk can mean a reoccurring thought that you have late at night. So something that like keeps coming back to you, like a thought or something that worries you, maybe. And right away I wrote the chorus for Nighthawk, because yeah, right when I read it, I just visualized this bird flying over your house, and while the Nighthawk, as a literal bird, is flying over your house, it kind of represents overthinking and anxiety, which I struggled with a lot, still a bit, but I can like calm myself down a bit more. But yeah, when the Nighthawk is flying over your house, you can't sleep. Something negative is following you, something negative is preventing you from sleeping, and it's making you have all these thoughts that are just swirling around in your mind. But yeah, it can mean anything that's keeping you up at night. It can be things that are happening inside you or maybe around you, anything. So yeah, it's kind of a song a little bit about anxiety and sadness as well. And also whenever that happened to me, so whenever I was kind of stressing out over things, I would look at the stars. It always calms me down. And that's how I wrote the verses. I started with Inspired by the Night, and then everything just happened from there. So yeah, it's a song inspired by the stars and also by stressing out over stuff. So this is also the first song that I produced on GarageBand before I moved on to FL Studio. This is just my first song ever that I really made a whole song of. Because first I started on GarageBand and then later I moved on to FL Studio. But my first few singles are on GarageBand. And this song was the first. So the first thing that I made for this song was the first melody you hear, the guitar melody. I used to play it on the piano, but I knew I wanted electric guitar, so that's what I did first. And then I added some star sounds and some other instruments, and eventually also the drums. And before I produced it, I actually always thought it was going to be a very, very dreamy, sweet song, so a lot of stars and cute things. But eventually it became a bit more like a grungy alt pop, alt rock song, I guess, which I'm very happy with because it actually fits way better with how I felt at the time. And I feel like it fits really well with the vibe of the song, you know, being stressed out late at night. I think it fits very well. But eventually I also, of course, also added like starry, dreamy sounds because it fits with the star theme of the song. But yeah, it's one of my favorites, and I really, really like the bell melody right after the chorus. Dee dee ding ding ding, dee 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 ding dee ding. It's, yeah, I really like that. I love those kind of sounds. So yeah, this is one of my favorites. So the third song that I'm going to be talking about is Nothing. So this song is very, very old. I wrote it, I think, when I was 15-ish. And it's quite straightforward. It's about keeping emotions inside and not sharing it with people, or not expressing your emotions enough, like even with yourself, you know, not crying, for example. And that eventually, when you keep everything inside, you first get overwhelmed and you're drowning in your emotions, but eventually, because you keep everything inside and you kind of shove them all down and you don't think about them, they disappear. At least you think. They don't. Whatever you bury down will stay there until you deal with them. That's at least how I feel about it. And also, when you keep all your emotions inside and you ignore them, eventually you might also lose touch with the good emotions. So because you are not really in contact with your body, and then yeah, even the nice emotions you might not feel as strongly anymore because you're kind of shutting everything off. So yeah, that's what this song is about. And yeah, I'm still dealing with that actually. So for me it had a very, very big impact, keeping everything inside, because I didn't like crying, but it's a part of life. So this song is also kind of a life lesson for me, but also for others. Hopefully, maybe they can learn something. Because when you are sad or angry or scared or something, and you ignore those emotions, right at that moment it might feel good because you think, oh, okay, they're gone and I don't have to think about them. But those emotions, those really, really strong emotions and feelings, don't just vanish. They stay somewhere. And it can give you a lot of stress, or maybe more sadness, or like I said, no emotions at all, which is not a good thing. So yeah, don't do that. So yeah, I was kind of onto something back then, but it just took me a while to really learn about it and to really feel that that coping mechanism for me was not working at all. So it's quite a sad song on the album, but I feel like it's necessary to sing about because it's something that I struggled with a lot, and maybe other people struggle with that too. And yes. So the production, again, I wanted something a bit simpler, just like with Wild Roses. I started, usually when I produce, I start with the piano melody. It's just easier for me because then I have the chords right and I know when to sing as well. And then I can build all the other instruments on top of it if I use the piano in the real song. And for this song, I wanted like a kind of, yeah, deep, dark, emotional piano, and then violins and cellos. So once I added like background pads and violins and strings, I also did the melody right after the chorus, and also the intro. So the very, very, yeah, the moving, emotional cello melody, which I'm very, very proud of, because years ago I didn't think I was able to do that, or even able to come up with a melody besides piano, because I don't play any other instruments. But I did, and I'm really, really proud of it. I think it's a very beautiful song. And for me, cellos, violins, any string instrument, to be honest, really just screams emotion to me. For me, yeah, if you're crying, like, to me the violin, for example, really sounds like emotions flowing out of a person. So I think it fits the vibe of the song very well, because it's, I don't know, maybe to me it kind of represents the emotion that you're trying to hide, but still the pain that you feel. And eventually the cello melody kind of moves down a bit and becomes a bit darker to represent that you're kind of left with nothing. Fourth song. This song is We Are The Ones. And this song I wrote, when I wrote it, it was a bit about love, but also about like friendships and just people around you and feeling like you give a lot, but you don't really get anything back, or you're not really appreciated or something. I do want to say that I do believe that you have to be kind anyway. You shouldn't be kind for the sake of getting something back, but you do have to make sure that you are appreciated and that you are treated nicely and with also respect the same that you give to other people. And I guess this song is a little bit about that. It's about just feeling like you miss something in this life. And again, it can be love, romantic or platonic, or it can be just based on actions or things in life that you maybe want back. I hope this makes sense. But now for me it can also have a different meaning, because it's also, like I talked about in the last video, I have an illness that makes me very, very tired. And it's also quite hard in this life you need to give a lot in life. It's just quite hard. But if you're like ill, or if you're tired a lot, or maybe if you are a bit different or something, or you are not really finding your way in life, it can feel like your efforts are just there and you don't get any help, you don't get any love, you don't get any respect. So maybe the song can also be about that. It can be about anything you want. But I guess my lesson with this song was to hope for the best. If you keep being who you are, and if you keep being a good person and you stay true to who you are, eventually you will be happy. I do believe that. And you will find more people like you, or maybe people who are giving you more love or kindness, or you give yourself more love and more kindness. That's also possible. So that's what the song kind of meant to me. And the production part, again, I started with the piano, and then I added the background pads and the violins, and then the drums and the bass and everything. And this song is a bit more pop rock, I guess. Also I don't produce my songs based on the whole album. I produce them each song individually, and I don't really think about the other songs, because I want the production to fit the best with the song individually, which is why some of my songs are very, very different. You have Nighthawk and then you have Wild Roses, for example. They're quite different. But I personally like that. I think it makes an album more interesting. And also it just fits the song better. That's what I really care about the most. So for me, this song was a bit more acoustic, a bit more pop rock. And I think it really fits the lyrics of the song and also the meaning, the emotion, but also the passion. That's how I feel, and that's how I produce, based on what I feel and what I see for each song. Number 5, Daydreaming. This song is super popular, and I honestly didn't expect that. When I wrote it, I thought it was a bit more simple than all the other songs. There also is not really a clear structure or anything. The lyrics are quite simple, so I didn't think that this one would be so popular, but I'm glad it is, because I really like it now as well. Also when I started producing it, I started liking it a lot more, because it really added to the whole whimsy, dreamy vibe of the song. So this song is quite straightforward, also just about daydreaming. It can be about creating like safe spaces in your head, or maybe just somebody who is creative, or somebody who is just a bit more like, I don't know, you add more whimsy to your life, or you like imagining things, or you like, I don't know, I guess getting a bit of sparkle here and there in your life, just something whimsy. And there is a little bit of a negative thing about the song as well, which is it is like how I wrote it was kind of as an escape from daily life. If you're stressed or anxious or something, daydreaming can really help you escape from that, which can help. But if you really only use it as an escape, it might not be the best. But overall, it's also just a song about being an introvert, and about being a dreamer, and about, I guess having a whimsical mind, which I think is a nice thing. And somebody who likes to dream away in nature and who likes quiet and music, and those things can give a lot of people like myself a lot of energy. So that's also what the song is about. And I wanted the production to sound very dreamy and very whimsical, and also a bit like the vibe that you get when the sun sparkles on water, or when the first snow is falling, you know, like, or maybe raindrops, and also stars and space. So very whimsical and very cute, very dreamlike. And one way for me to get inspired to produce a song is when I'm already producing one song and then I hear a sound or an instrument or an effect or something, and it right away makes me think of another song. So then I usually switch and I go make another song, which is also why I have like a million unfinished projects on my laptop. And that's also what happened here. I'm pretty sure I was producing Nighthawk and I heard this sound, and I right away thought, okay, this has to be Daydreaming. So I went to a new project and I started making the song Daydreaming. And yeah, eventually everything just comes to me. It starts with one little melody and then I close my eyes and I think, oh, here should be another melody a bit higher, or here should be some sparkles, or here should be a little twinkle or something. And eventually this dreamscape, for this song at least, started flowing. And when I was recording the vocals, I had the idea of doing multiple vocal layers, which is the only song that actually really has that. And there are a few songs that have different layers on a certain word, or maybe during a chorus or something, but this song really has the different vocals, which I thought was really cute, and it fits the dreamy vibe of the song very well as well. So yeah, that's Daydreaming. Then, number 6, we have Runaway. So Runaway is the song that inspired me to write an album. I remember when I finished the chorus, I was so proud of myself and I told myself, I am going to write a full album. And this song was for me about not really feeling like I belonged where I was. I felt a bit different and alone, and I was also a bit stressed sometimes. And I really wanted to travel and see the world. And yeah, all those things together inspired this song. But it can be about anything. It can be about a place or a person, maybe somebody that makes you feel a bit like you don't really fit in there. It can be about a certain job, or maybe maybe you want to travel, or maybe you want to achieve something, because it's also about dreams and achieving dreams and going after what you want. And so for me, this song is also a bit of a way of saying it will be okay. You are strong enough to find your dreams on your own, if you have to do them on your own, and you eventually will find the place where you belong. And just like Nighthawk, this song was inspired by the stars, which a lot of my songs are inspired by, because of course I sing that I hear a voice among the stars saying, run away, you need to run away. So yeah, I guess going back to Nighthawk, you know, looking up to the stars and thinking about your life and what you want, and eventually come to the conclusion that maybe you need to make a change, whatever it is. And the production for this one, I always knew this song had to be kind of just an upbeat indie pop, indie rock song, drums, guitars, pianos, very acoustic I wanted it to be. And then of course at the end I have the star sounds, because with most of my songs I have some sparkly detail. And yeah, that's all I have to say about the production. It's quite simple. Yeah, I really like it. And the final part where all the, like, a lot of more star sounds come in. At first I was not sure if I wanted to do that, because I thought it might be too much. But then I thought, I don't know, my music is quite a lot, so it's fine. It fits the rest of the album as well, so and it fits really well with the stars that I hear, that I listen to. Yeah. Song 7, City Lights. This is one of the last songs I wrote on this album. Most songs I wrote between ages 14 and 16, 17. And this one I wrote when I was 19, I think. I was just about to start art school. I studied there for 1 year. And I remember after a few days, I was really excited at first, but then after a few days I just realized, like, hey, I'm not really enjoying this as much as I should. and I'm not as happy as I thought I would be. So yeah, I was getting a bit sad, and then I was getting home late from that day, and I was sitting in the train, and I was looking over all the city lights, and I saw a lot of people living their lives, being happy, being very vibrant and very lively, and I just didn't really feel anything at that point. And so that's when I wrote the chorus, because it really did feel like I was floating around over city lights, and I didn't really feel anything, and I also didn't really understand why I was feeling so empty, like a hollow soul. And yeah, and then the verses and the pre-choruses just came eventually, because to me, the pre-chorus I sing about your obsession when I bleed. Every second I try to heal, here you are taking over me. And for me, the you that I'm singing to is kind of like that negativity, that darkness, that emptiness, the sadness, all of those things that were kind of keeping me down. But it can also be about a person, maybe somebody in your life that is holding you back, or maybe somebody in your life that is making you feel uneasy or empty or something. Yeah, it can be about anything or anyone in your life that's making you feel a bit uneasy and a bit empty. And the bridge I wrote because I was kind of comparing myself to how I used to be. So how I used to feel invincible, but now there's not really anything left. And then eventually at the end I sing, I used to feel something, because I used to feel a lot more, and at that point I didn't really, and it was really, really sad, which kind of goes in contrast with the production. The production is very, very happy, which I think fits really well. The piano melody at first, I always knew I wanted synths, because of the city lights aspect. I don't know, for me it fit really well. But eventually I produced the synths, and then I made the bass line as well, which was very, very upbeat as well. And then when I did the drums, I was super, super happy with the song, because it was kind of like a little bit inspired by the music that I also listened to a lot at that time. I listened to a lot of new wave and 80s pop punk rock. I really like that vibe, and I think you can hear that I listened to that music. And so this song was a big surprise, because at first I didn't expect it to be this lively and this happy, because it's kind of my only dance track that I have, if that's what you can call it. But it fits really well, because everything around you might seem very, very happy and very lively, but maybe there is something in your life that you're still dealing with, or something that you need to deal with. So yeah, a song about being unhappy, or maybe disassociating, or somebody or something holding you back, or keeping you down, something that's making you feel a bit uneasy, covered up in a very, very nice upbeat dance track. Okay, number 8, I think. Faraway Places. This song is obviously inspired by space. I love space. I think it's really cool. When I was younger, I also really liked space and the stars, and yeah, just looking up to the sky. And it started with the lyrics for We Are the Chasers of the Sun, or Moon. I don't know which one came first, but one of those two. And then the rest just followed, and it became this very dreamy song about wondering about your dreams. You know, are they gonna come true or not? Or your dreams or your plans or anything you want. But written in a bit of a different way than, for example, Runaway. I wrote it in the style of, yeah, like space and the sun and the moon. And I wrote it a bit about people who are wanderers, people who are dreamers, people who are maybe unsure of where their life is or where their life is going. So I start with the sun, like wondering if we're ever gonna get there. It seems very far away, but it's still so wonderful to think about. And then the chorus comes, and it's quite straightforward. We are dreaming of faraway places. And the end of the chorus, just like the sun and the moon, but they can't reach us too. For me, that meant, hey, yes, they are far away, just like your dreams. Your dreams might seem very, very far, or the things you want to achieve seem very out of reach, but they will not magically come to you. Your dreams are not just gonna magically appear on your doorstep. Well, they might if you're very lucky, but in my case that did not work out. You have to put some work in. You have to make some efforts to go towards your dreams, whatever it is. And that's kind of what I meant with that. And then the second verse, I sing about the moon and how, hey, maybe it's not impossible to get there. And it's very dark, sure, but it's really beautiful to see your dreams. Even if your life might be very dark, dreams can give you hope. And your ambitions can also give you hope. And then during the bridge, I go a bit more into this whole thing that you might cry a lot, but you might not have tried hard enough to go to your dreams. Maybe you're thinking about them a lot, which makes you sad. But if you are not taking steps to achieve your goals, you're never gonna get anywhere. So to me, the bridge was a bit of a hard lesson for myself that I wrote to me. Like, hey, yeah, you can be all crying and sad and being all like, oh, my dreams are never gonna come true. But if you're only doing that, then nothing is ever gonna happen. So you have to put some work in. And the production of this song was a bit similar to Daydreaming. I think I was producing another song and then I heard this really, really cool sound, like a very, very mystical sound. And I knew I wanted that for this song. And then I added a bunch of other dreamy sounds and pads and stars. And eventually I added the drums and it again became a little bit more grungy. And then at the end, I remember the song was almost finished. At least the main production was finished. And then at the end, I suddenly started harmonizing with myself. And I started doing the na 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 da 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 da. And then I added those and I was really, really happy with them. That's one of my favorite parts of all my songs, the ending of Faraway Places. I love that part, also with the guitar as well. Yeah, just that whole part is one of my favorites and I'm really, really happy with it. And yeah, so it's a very dreamy song, but with a slow build up, but at the end it's a bit more lively and a bit more, yeah, a bit stronger, I guess. Then the 9th song is Lone Wolf, which is, I think, my second or third most popular song, which again, I did not expect. Already when I wrote it on the piano, I wasn't really sure if it was gonna be popular because, yeah, the lyrics were quite specific and quite, yeah, they were quite folky. And then when I produced the song, I knew I wanted it to be a little bit indie folk vibe, but I didn't expect it to be as much as it is now. So when I produced Lone Wolf, I thought, okay, this might not be my most popular song, but it's fine because it fits the vibe. So I am gonna keep it this folky and this different from the rest of the tracks as well. But suddenly it's one of my most popular songs. So, and I actually really like that because it was never really my favorite, I think, from what I remember. But now it's one of my favorites. I really like it and it's really nice to sing as well. A bit difficult, but still really nice. I can really sing with a lot of power and a lot of strength, which I think it also fits the song and it's also a nice challenge for me. So how this song came to be is I had a dream once where I was running in a forest and I was shouting out, "Into the woods I run." And I woke up and right away I wrote it down in my notes. And I don't know if I wrote the whole chorus then, I'm not sure, maybe I did. But at least the main, like the beginning part. And I think I already had the idea of a lone wolf somewhere before that. And that's how I write a lot of my songs. I have an idea that I come up with, I write it down, and then it might make me think of something else that I've written, or maybe I read something else that I've written like a few weeks ago or months or even years ago, and then I match those two together because they have the same emotion or the same story. And that's also what happened with this song. The chorus was almost finished, and then a few weeks later, I think, or maybe months, I was walking in the woods and I saw all these dead leaves under my feet, and I saw all these natural things dying because it was fall. But it was actually nice because I also still saw a lot of life in the trees, and I thought this cycle is so nice because it starts with leaves dying and then eventually everything grows again and the cycle begins. And so even if, and that's how I wrote it as well, is even if maybe things in your life are breaking down, or maybe certain parts of you that you have to leave behind. It might feel a bit, it might feel a bit dark at first, but it gives you a chance to grow again as a new person, and it gives you a chance to become a stronger person by leaving things behind you don't no longer need, or dealing with things that are holding you back from achieving what you want. So yeah, it gave me a lot of hope and a lot of inspiration. So I wrote it down, the whole first chorus already. And yeah, that's eventually how the song came to be. And the pre-chorus, when I sing lonely or alone, and then at the end just alone is enough. For me, what it meant was, okay, I might still feel alone a bit, like a lone wolf, but I no longer feel lonely because I am okay with who I am, and I am right now finding the strength in me to move forward, and I'm becoming more confident in who I am. And if you are more confident in who you are, in my opinion and in my experience, you will then meet people who fit you really well, and you will meet people who fit in your life and who you will feel like you belong with. So yeah, the pre-chorus was a bit of a way of me saying for myself, like, okay, you might still feel a bit alone, but not lonely, and there's a big difference for me. And the skies are open, so everything feels a bit soft and everything feels okay for a while. And then into the woods you run, and yeah, you will follow yourself, you will follow your heart, and you're strong enough to go after what you want. And when I sing Howl Over It All, howl like a lone wolf, yes, a lone wolf maybe, but you're still strong and you are free to be who you want to be. So yeah, a song about chasing dreams, a song about going after what you want, a song about ambitions, maybe something inside you, like an inner thought that you really need to grow or that you need to strengthen in a way. A song about willpower, about leaving things behind that you need to leave behind. A song about strength, inner peace, dreams, and change overall. And like I said before, the production was a lot more folky than I thought it would be. It fits perfectly, so I'm happy that I went with this style. I'm pretty sure I started with guitar or piano again for the main rhythm, the main melody in the background. And eventually I started adding these really cool folky drums. And the vocals for this one of my favorites. I think it's because I added different vocal layers, and one of them was a bit more indie, a bit more grainy. You know, like similar to like one of those radio effects, if you know what I mean. And I added that as like a layer underneath because I feel like it fits really well with the overall indie vintage feel that the production has, at least. So for this one, actually, my vocals, in my opinion, fit the mix really well. Which is something that I still struggle with. So I'm going to try to incorporate that in my second album as well, to see if I can really make the vocals blend in with the rest of the instruments. Then number 10 is Where No Roads Are. Also quite popular song. This is a song that's inspired by the mountains. I love the mountains, I love nature, obviously. It's just, in the mountains I feel so free and I feel so wild, but also safe. I don't know what it is exactly. I think it's because they're so open and so wide, and so you can see over all the mountains and the hills, but you still feel protected by the forest and by the little hills and the rivers, and it feels very calming but also very free. Yeah, I hope it makes sense. For me it does. And this song for me is also a bit about travel and the freedom of traveling and the excitement of travel, seeing new places and discovering new paths. But then also, of course, the nature part, so sun, mountains, rivers, wind, anything that for me screams peace, and anything for me that feels like freedom. So yeah, so wind and rivers and open spaces with sun and flowers. That's to me how the song feels and what I see when I hear the song. I hope it makes sense. I'm a very, very visual person with music, so I have like colors in my head and shapes and everything. So yeah, a very round, warm, safe song that feels like summer, spring, whatever it is you like. And yeah, the song is basically just about anything that you want to achieve. It can be, like I said, a feeling of peace and quiet and calm. But it can also be about maybe excitement and freedom and passion, something that you want, something like a place you want to go to, or a thing you want to achieve, or something you want to do. And the where no roads are part can also mean that maybe yes, you want to go somewhere or you want to achieve something, but you might want to do it in a bit of a different way, and you might need to go somewhere where there are no roads, so maybe somewhere where nobody has gone before, or maybe something that's different from the people around you. Maybe the people around you are living a certain life and you want to do it a bit differently. So yes, that can be scary, because you're going somewhere where there's no direction, and you don't know exactly where you're going, how you're gonna get there, what the path is gonna look like. You basically don't know anything. All you know is, I want to go somewhere I'm free to figure it out, and I want to be free enough and be strong and be strong enough and also free in yourself to be able to be okay with not knowing everything. I hope I'm not rambling, by the way. I think I am, but maybe not. But I hope it makes sense. Yeah, so you want to go somewhere where no roads are, somewhere where it's a bit, maybe the great unknown. But it's gonna be great because you're gonna follow your heart, and that's very important. And for me, besides music, nature is like what I care about the most. So there was a part of my life where I was thinking maybe I should just get a part-time job somewhere in the mountains and then be in the mountains all the time and swim and hike and just be laying in the grass looking at the sky. But for me, I realized that music is more important, so I'm going to try to do that first. And then eventually maybe I can live somewhere in the middle of nature where there's nothing but the sound of wind and rivers. That would be my dream. And so also for the production, I wanted it to be very dreamy, but also a bit folky, so a bit of a mix between, now that I think about it, maybe a bit of a mix between Daydreaming and Lone Wolf. But yeah, very, very flowy. A lot of nice flowing instruments like pianos and some guitars and some background pads that are very like this. But then also still have really upbeat drums to kind of imitate the happiness and the drive to go somewhere, to do what you want. Yeah, just a very fun, dreamy, folky, dream pop song. I have no idea what genre it is. I don't know what genre I make. Let me know in the comments what genre you think I make. I thought it was indie, but then whenever I tell people I make indie, they compare me to artists. Like, oh, you make this. And I'm like, no, I don't. And then I don't know what genre I do make. Do I make dream pop? Or alternative? Or art pop? I have no idea. Doesn't matter. I just make whimsical music. Let's just keep it there. For me, this song specifically is very visual. I see glitters on water, and I see flowing rivers, and I see yellow flowers and sun rays and wind. Finally, we have song 11 on the album, which is Running Inside a Dream, the title track of the album. So this song consists of a lot of different pieces of lyrics. I have about this much lyrics from the past few years, and Runaway consists of a few different parts. I remember I had the idea of Running Inside a Dream. I'm not 100% sure if this is where it came from, but I think it does. Since many years, I can remember my dreams very, very vividly, and a lot of detail as well. And the last few years, I've been dreaming about running a lot, running away from stuff, or running towards something, or being on the run from somebody or something. I remember I had a dream like that, like many years ago, and I think that's where it came from, where I was thinking about, hey, I'm running in my dreams a lot. Maybe that's literally my head trying to say, hey, you are running away from your problems, or maybe you want to run somewhere, maybe you need to go somewhere else, maybe this is not where you belong, or maybe there's something you want to achieve, so you kind of have this stress of you need to go somewhere. I think it's a mix of those three things. And that's when I wrote Running Inside a Dream. because it can mean, well, all of those things. For me, literally running in my dreams, like running away from something. But also, I dream about a lot of things. Like I'm a daydreamer and I fantasize about my future a lot. And whenever I think about myself in the future, I'm a lot more happy and a lot more free. And I'm running in a dream, so I am moving and I'm achieving things. So for me, it has a double meaning or a triple meaning, because it's both literally running in a dream, you're running away from your problems maybe, but also you are in your dreams, the ones that you want to achieve, you are running and you are free and you are achieving what you want. And when I had that part finished, I started going back to my old lyrics that I wrote, and I did that on purpose because when I wrote this, I really saw little me as well already doing this. Like I've been being kind of stuck in my head for a long time. And so I started looking back at what I wrote years before. And that's when I, basically just made the whole song fit together from a bunch of feelings and a bunch of emotions and places where I've been. And that's also why every chorus is differently, because I had quite a lot of text that I wanted to include in this song, to include different emotions and different reasons of why I was running in a dream. Stress and a broken heart and sadness and losing hope, but also getting hope from the stars again. The girl in the window is wondering what she sees there among the stars. And the pre-chorus, I wrote it also separately and then I put it into the song, because to me it means that a lot of times, I was so busy living in here and thinking about what I wanted to achieve that I didn't really think about what I already had in life. And so that's why I'm maybe as an older version of myself singing to little me, like, hey, why is it still not enough? So it's kind of older me singing to little me, like, why isn't it enough? You have enough. You have the strength, you have the dreams, you have the drive. Yes, you're very sad and stressed and tired, and life is also hard, but you do have something. You have a lot of things that you like and a lot of things that make you who you are. So why are you not trying to find your home? Why are you just being in here? Why are you stuck in your head when you can go out of there and actually try to live the life that you want? Which is harder than it seems for me. So this song is about anyone who is maybe thinking about their younger self, who is scared or who was scared and who was not really able to heal, but maybe you are now. And it's also just about people who are maybe a bit scared in life or lonely or sad, or people who want to achieve something, like I said before. Or just anyone with dreams or hopes for a better future. At least that's what it meant for me. But again, I'm always really curious, by the way, what somebody else thinks when they listen to my songs. So from this video, if there's any song where you had a totally different idea of, or if there's like a song where you felt something completely different, I am really, really curious to hear. And the production, I'm also really happy with. It started with the intro sound. It kind of sounded like a pad or like a vocal that like sweeps through the music. I loved it when I heard it for the first time, and I knew I wanted like a sweeping sound. It kind of, for me, sounds kind of like a cry into space, or like somebody screaming into space, or wishing something, but somebody getting their emotions out there. And for me, that kind of means somebody looking up to the stars and wishing for things that they want, or maybe somebody's emotions that are getting out there, or maybe somebody's emotion that they are expressing in their dreams, maybe. And I wanted this song to be a bit more big, like not per se like an orchestra, but quite a lot of instruments. So also during the bridge, the violins really come in and they go quite fast, because I wanted to feel like a big ending to the first part of my story. But then, totally at the end of the song, it gets really calm again, and it's just focused on the voice and the stars. And it's just very simple, you with your wishes, you with your dreams, you with whatever it is that you feel. For me, it was really going back to, hey, you have enough, you have the strength, you have the dreams, you have the ambitions. Go out there and go find your dream, and then you will be home, or you will feel at home. And that's why I kept it quite small and at the end, and it ends with stars, because that's the main theme of the album. And I'm a big stargazer, so I love looking up there, and I wanted the ending to feel calm and kind of like a, hopefully, kind of like, okay, I got this. So that was the album. I am very, very proud of it. I think it's a very, very fun, but also a very deep album if you think about it. A lot of the songs have a very happy production, but they do come from a place of pain, for me at least. But from what I've heard from all of you is that a lot of people get very calm when they listen to my music, and they really like the whimsy aspect of it. So it's really nice that I can bring some magic into this world, because that's, for me, music is like art, it's like magic, and that I can, I don't know, make somebody feel happy or calm, or I don't know what you feel when you listen to my music, but it's nice that I can do something. But I have to be honest, I am very, very tired. That's also why it took me very long to make this video. Somehow filming a YouTube video takes up a lot of my energy. I am fried. So I'm not sure how much I will talk about the production part of everything. I will say that I started with GarageBand. GarageBand is pretty easy, it's free. I do think it's only available on iPhones. I do know BandLab. I think you can record live things in there and then like layer them on top of each other, but I'm not sure. Yeah, GarageBand is where I started. It's quite easy, and yeah, it can maybe give you some inspiration to start making melodies and to start working with drums and guitars and everything. And then eventually I moved on to FL Studio. I do want to say the reason why I moved to FL Studio was because I already had that program. I got it for my birthday many, many years ago. I know some people prefer Ableton or Logic as well. I think if you go from GarageBand to Logic, it makes the most sense, because Logic is quite similar to GarageBand and it's quite easy to use, I've heard. But yeah, since I had FL Studio, I just thought I would use it. And it took me a very long time, because FL Studio is like, the first time you look at it, you think you will never learn it. At least that's what I had. I gave up many times. There's so many buttons and there's so many things to do. It's so overwhelming and it's so not clear about what's going on. But eventually I figured it out. What helped for me, which might be a tip for now, because I might make a more in-depth video about production if you want. But again, I'm very amateur, so I don't know if my tips are the best. But what I would already say is, for me, what really helped is to watch a YouTube video from somebody just going from beginning to end, the very basics on how to produce a song. I don't remember exactly which video I watched. It was just this guy, talking about the main basic steps of FL Studio. And for me, what helped was just to have my laptop, my phone with the video, follow all his steps. And just look where he click, and just do everything the same. To me, when I did that, I had it figured out within a few days, to be honest, at least the basics. I knew how to get a piano melody in there, and I knew how to find sounds and different instruments and how to put them in the mix as well. And then eventually you can move on to mixing and mastering and different plugins and different effects and how to change velocity, how to make slide notes, like anything that you might need. You can always add those later, but it's important to get the first idea of the layout of FL Studio ready, or any production program that you use. Just, if you are planning on producing, make sure you choose the right program for you. Ask a lot of people, watch videos, because yes, I use FL Studio, but I don't know if that's the easiest one. I don't know if it's the best one. I don't know if there is a best one. Just see what works for you. But I would definitely recommend for people with iPhone to start with GarageBand, because it's quite easy and it's free. So yeah, it's also a good way for you to see, okay, do I even like this, or do I want to maybe only work with live instruments? That's also a possibility. Yeah, but thank you all for being here and watching my video, and I hope you liked it. I'm pretty sure I said that in the last video as well, but I ramble on a lot sometimes because I'm tired and my brain goes like this, so I don't really have my thoughts straight, even though I wrote everything down. But this is also not really very clear. It's just a bunch of text. So next time, no, I was gonna say next time I'll be more prepared, but I probably won't be. But thanks everybody, and thank you for being here. I really appreciate it, and bye.